We offer health insurance plans from major carriers nationwide and likely have a plan that can save you money. Whether you're self-employed, on a COBRA plan that's about to expire, or you simply don't have health insurance where you work and you need it, InSphere Insurance Solutions can help you. Our agents will help you find coverage you can afford. InSphere Insurance Solutions is an authorized agency in all 50 states, including the District of Columbia. Plans may not be available in all states. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242. 800-614-1242.
All right, welcome to the show, World Soccer Radio on the Sports Byline, the USA Radio Network. I'm Nick Geber, along with Danny Page.
Hey-o.
Today,
what's up, big guy?
Well,
Belated Merry Christmas here. It was nice to have the day off. Any day that I don't speak to you really is a holiday.
Well, you know, Danny, I know how you feel. It's the same way. But by the way, did you have a nice holiday? Christmas, whatever you have? Kwanzaa?
I had a great holiday.
You celebrate Kwanzaa, right?
I cut the 15-pound prime rib roast this time around. It was a beautiful day. But really, when dinner's done and night falls, all I'm excited to do is wake up and watch these matches. And it was just an unbelievable day, Nick.
Yeah, it was, absolutely. We've got a lot to get to, a lot to talk about today. You know, I say that every show, but because there's always a lot to get to. But today in particular.
Especially today.
Yeah, after today, the big match, of course, it was City-Liverpool. We're going to ask you if that match was a little bit closer than you had expected. Interesting. I think we'll break this one down, Danny. Also, let's talk about today's big surprises other than the City-Liverpool match. Let's talk about some of the other ones today. There were some really good ones. Matt, starting off with Hull Man United. Again, I think that match may not have gone quite as people thought it was. We're going to do that as well. Let's talk about Brendan Rodgers' disgrace. And Spurs fans, is it time for Daniel Levy to go? All of this and more here on World Soccer Radio, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. You can find us in the studio, or you can call us, find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. That's Twitter at World Soccer Radio. Big hello to our men and women in uniform listening around the world on American Forces Radio. I hope that you guys really enjoyed the show and had a wonderful, wonderful holiday. We just love talking to our troops as we do every weeknight from 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, if you're listening on one of the affiliates of the Sports Byline Network, or TuneIn.com, or iHeartRadio.com, or you're watching the live video stream at WatchWSR.com. We are everywhere this holiday season, Danny. We got a big show today.
Big time show, you're right. But they're about Liverpool, Man City, and Man United Hull. But there's a lot more to this day, a lot of action at the bottom, a lot going on in the top half of the table as well. And we'll get to it all over the next 52 minutes, Nick.
All right, that's it. That's what's on the table today. Hope you'll stay with us for the whole hour. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Once again, World Soccer Radio on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Your home for footy talk on the radio. There is no other place you get programming quite as genius as what we provide you, because we said so. All right, it is time for break, so we're going to do just that. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't go anywhere.
Studies show that as many as 90% of Americans are deficient in vitamin D, making it one of the most common health concerns in the world. But all of that is about to change, because now there's BioD Supreme, the absorbable vitamin D. This unique vitamin D spray quickly and easily provides the therapeutic level of vitamin D you need every day. Just a few sprays a day delivers 5,000 IU of vitamin D, the same amount recommended by doctors. Traditional vitamin D pills can lose up to 90% of their potency as they pass through our system, but BioD Supreme uses amazing new oral spray technology with a fully optimized blend of vitamin D and all the key cofactors, so you get the vitamin D you need absorbed into your bloodstream in just seconds. Stop wasting your money on pills and get the spray. Call now and find out how to get your free 30-day bonus supply of BioD Supreme.
Call 1-800-709-7805. That's 800-709-7805. Again, 800-709-7805.
Call now.
Talk about easy money. It's Old Navy's best after holiday sale ever. Now through New Year's Eve, get up to 75% off throughout the store. doesn't get easier than this. Old Navy's famous jeans are also on sale. $19 for adults, $10 for kids. Now through New Year's Eve, only at Old Navy. Valid on select styles only on participating stores. Muscle class last excludes gift cards.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for prescription drugs? Well, we have great news. Now you can finally get prescription drugs at huge discounts from Canada Drug Center. That's right, the most popular drugs for cholesterol, high blood pressure, depression, diabetes, arthritis, and many more are now up to 75% off. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices when you can get brand-name drugs at the lowest price? Call today and get up to 75% off all the popular brand-name prescription drugs. Never pay high prices again. Get the most popular drugs and huge savings from our Canadian and international pharmacies and fulfillment centers. No insurance, no problem. Prices are so low you do need benefits or insurance to get all your prescriptions fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting to take your call now. Order today and get free shipping. Just call 800-950-1180. Up to 75% off all the popular brand name prescription drugs and free shipping.
Hey, Nick.
800-950-1180.
This is for kicks and giggles, little stray cats coming back.
Okay, then.
At Sports Authority, find the
It was a great show, man.
for everyone on your list. We have thousands of items on sale now, like 25% off.
Do you remember who the other two stray cats were?
50% off all treadmills, ellipticals, and exercise bikes.
Yeah, I'll
When you
tell you
enter
later.
our $500,000 gift of sport holiday sweepstakes, you'll have your chance to win hundreds of prizes. Visit sportsauthority.com to enter and see official rules. Shop our great deals in-store and online today to see why there's nothing like the gift of sport. Sports Authority, all things sporting good.
All right. Welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Nick Geber and Danny Page with you, 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY, little stray cats there to bring us in. What a Boxing Day we had, Danny. What an absolute wonderful set of matches today. Living up to its billing, living up to its hype, unlike perhaps the other big match, the Chelsea-Arsenal match that we were all waiting to watch that became so disappointing. The match today, the big match of the day, was obviously City-Liverpool, and I thought it lived up to its billing.
Well, don't you think we should have known, first of all, that the Chelsea-Arsenal match was going to be a little bit dull and dreary? The truth is that in big matches like this, Nick, I think the away team sets the tempo and decides what kind of game we are going to play. And Liverpool were absolutely fearless throughout. They attacked the entire way through. And there was one period that to me especially showed really the guts of this team, and that was right at the start of the second half. City had just gone up 2-1 at the end of the first half. They had a nice spell in the opening 90 seconds, and you thought, okay, Liverpool are going to be forced to drop into a shell like everyone else should have to against City away. But no, they controlled the ball. They showed incredible composure for the next 6-7 minutes. They created some great chances. I was so incredibly impressed with this team, Nick, and what they did and the way they played away to Manchester City.
Well, you know, Danny, before the match, when we were doing our preview, we did our stream special on Christmas Eve, which was a lot of fun, I might add.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know, I said to you that I actually had this match as a draw, and I've been saying that for a while, and you laughed at me, and a lot of people are laughing at me. But, you know, the fact is I saw this happening because really these are two extremely attacking teams, and essentially canceled each other out. Now, at the end of the day, City took all 3 points, and fair dinkum, as the Aussies like to say. Fair enough. We can talk about the bad calls, and we can talk about the non-calls if you're a City supporter. At the end of the day, it was a bit of a gaffe by Mignolet, and and it cost Liverpool.
Oh, do you
the
think
point.
so? I really don't think so. I think Negredo saw that his best option was to try sort of a dink
rubbish
shot
Yeah, right.
with the outside of his boot. That was really a very difficult and technical shot and hard for Mignolet to handle. I think he was guilty of being out of position, but at the same time, I think Skirtle has to do more. And there are two questions to ask of Rodgers today. One we'll talk about later on, and that is about his behavior after the match. But two is, why is Daniel Agger not involved in this team in central defense with Mamadou Sakho? Really? The other thing I noticed, Nick, I'm not sure if you did recognize about Liverpool when they attack, aren't there a lot of times when players, whether it's Coutinho or whether it's Suarez or even Henderson or Joe Allen, when they don't lift their head up enough and see what's in front of them, and players are left throwing their arms up in the air like, why didn't I get the ball? I think the good news is that so many attacking players for Liverpool are getting into good positions, but don't you feel like they still haven't hit their stride as a cohesive group yet?
No, not really. I think that, first of all, you have to give a lot of credit to Man City. They played a very dangerous game against Liverpool. They played a high line. They tried to press them. And that's very, very dangerous because Suarez and Coutinho and Sterling like to get in behind defenders that way and suss them out for pace, which they started to do a little bit of. But I thought Man City were absolute quality in this game. I thought Liverpool were absolute quality in this game. I just thought, you know, that's what happens when you play a Man City versus a Tottenham. That's the difference. But did I expect that today? Yeah, I did, because that's the nature of this Liverpool team. I think they believe, with Luis Suarez leading the attack, I think Liverpool believe they can beat anyone on any day. And by the way, I think they can. The question, the one overriding question, Danny, that has to do whether we're talking about Liverpool beating anyone on the day or whether we think Man City can win the Premier League, consistency. Consistency wins titles. And I frankly think both of these teams have a little question mark over that consistency side.
Yes, I think Liverpool, though, it's less about inconsistency and more about determining identity. I think that's going to take time, and surely the same goes for City, obviously, with a new manager as well. But they have so much world class that it's really impossible to think of teams beating them, at that venue. Sorry, what were you going to say?
No, that was great announcer voice you just did, by the way. It's less about consistency and it's more about identity.
Absolutely.
Very good.
Here on the frozen tundra of the Etihad Stadium.
Yeah. You're right, though. Actually, you are right. Look, Liverpool believe they can beat anyone on the day. I think City actually, to me, are the team that is finding their oats and finding their confidence. And, of course, the Etihad is the place that they do it. They got a real shock with Liverpool. I think they see what happens when you come up with a team with a super attack. Look, we're going to talk about it. The match was closer than expected, Danny, and that's what we say in the lower third here. City versus Liverpool, closer than expected. Yes, I think most people had this as a 3-0 or a 4-0, looking at what United came in and got beat, 4-1 or 4-2. Chelsea came in, Tottenham. I mean, most people have come to the Etihad. I mean, everyone has come to the Etihad and got beaten. I don't think anybody was expecting this tight of a match. But I did. I knew this was going to happen. Look, I think City are incredible. But the fact of the matter is, if you look at their away form, if there's an Achilles heel for them, obviously it's the away form.
They'll get it together.
10 out of the last. Yes, they absolutely might.
What about Liverpool's away form, Nick? You're looking at 1 win, 2 draws, 3 losses away. Okay, if we want to criticize Manchester City's away form, we have to look at the way Liverpool are performing away from home too, and say, then they don't have a shot either. So,
well, do we?
Dubious away form.
Well, do we? Do we?
No.
Because have you actually seen what Liverpool's overall away form is, not just the last 5 games?
That's the last 6 matches.
Last 6 matches, yeah.
5 points from 6.
It's actually substantially better than because I just answered this with somebody online here. Somebody gave me a load of nonsense about it. And in fact, Liverpool have a better away record than Man City does. I think they've taken 12 points to Man City's 11 on the road. I think they're at a plus 5, and Man City's at a
yes. But look at the form. Look at the form of the 2 away over the last 5, and it's distinctly different.
Yeah, but Liverpool
Man City are.
Right, but Liverpool have made trips to Arsenal, and they made trips to the Etihad, and they had the draw against Everton. I mean, so some of these matches are the big matches, let's face it. And City haven't been able to win those big matches away either.
They kind of convinced me today. I think I laughed it off a little bit over the last 2 weeks, but in defeat, they really convinced me that they can contend for the Barclays Premier League title. I think, again, the distinct difference here between the 2 sides, and Chelsea and Arsenal go into this mix as well, is despite the depth of squad for City, remember, they're still alive. They still have 2 semifinal matches to play. Yeah. They're expected to make an FA Cup run. They have to take on Barcelona, a team that many people fancy them to upset in the round of 16. And Liverpool play Oldham in the Football Association Cup coming up in just over a week's time. So The fact
And
that
that's
they
it,
can
by the
put
way.
that team out, and that's it.
That's it.
The fact that they
There's
can
no-
put that team out every time around, I really like what they did today. They were so much better today, weren't they, than when they went to Arsenal back in November.
Yeah,
so much
better. Absolutely. But look, I don't want to detract from just how good I think Man City are and can be on a consistent basis. If they can take that home form and add another 15% to their away form, which you're right, Danny, they most likely are going to do. Okay, they're going to be champions. I mean, they are big, they are strong, they are sublime on the ball, they read each other well, they're cohesing well as a team. Joe Hart seems to have his confidence back. In fact, he made some point-saving saves today. He was a big difference for them today, was Joe Hart. So, I mean, I think they look terrific. And, you know, we're going to come in the next segment and we're going to talk about the big winners and losers on the day, and we'll look at some of the other matches. But, you know, look at City. I thought they were just fantastic.
City were, but I got to hand it to Jordan Henderson and the Welsh Xavi too as well. Allen has
I
really
thought he
come
was
along.
rubbish today. I thought he was
both
awful
of them
today.
have significantly improved over the last couple months, though. I think you have to hand it to them in that regard.
Welsh Xavi.
He's getting better.
Oh, you know, is there something that's like a Catalonian Emil Heskey? Does it work in reverse? All right, we'll stop the radio. Sports Byline USA Radio Network. 800-878-PLAY, 800-878-PLAY. Find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. We are online. We're at TuneIn. We're at iHeartRadio. Also, man, we're everywhere. And you can watch the show live at watchwsr.com. All right, Nick Eber and Danny Page with you. Time for break, and we will be right back with more right here on the Sports Byline Network.
Do you know which investment has tripled in price since the debt crisis and risen an average 20% a year for 11 years? It's not stocks, not bonds, it's silver. And right now, we at Lear Capital believe silver is poised to hit new record highs. And we're making it easier to own than ever. For a limited time, new customers with $5,000 or more to invest in gold or silver can get up to 10 certified Morgan silver dollars absolutely free. That's right, up to 10 100-year-old Morgan silver dollars when you invest $5,000 or more. A $600 value free. This offer is available for IRA accounts as well.
Call right now, 800-631-9229, 800-631-9229, 800-631-9229. Call Lear Capital now, 800-631-9229.
Smart investors pay attention to contrarian views. Barron's gives investors the perspective they need to anticipate the market's twists and turns and find profitable opportunities along the way. Barron's provides the investing ideas and insights you need to protect and grow your portfolio. It offers in-depth coverage and analysis of sectors and companies. And Barron's columnists cover all the market's action, so you'll know what happened and why, and be prepared for what's to come. Barron's delivers strategic thinking and practical ideas to help you make smarter decisions about when, where, and how to invest. And for intraday market analysis, there's Barron's.com, offering powerful investment tools like Stock Screen and Stock Grader. Get 8 weeks of Barron's plus Barron's.com, all for only $19.95. This offer is available to new subscribers in the contiguous U.S. only.
Call now, toll free 800-356-9700. That's 800-356-9700 for Barron's. See what others don't.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month,
Minute.
you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge, and at the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063, 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063, 800-957-6063.
All right, welcome back to the show, World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. Nick Eber and Danny Page with you today. Hey, man.
Hey, I love Boxing Day. When's the boxing, though?
I don't know. You know, I can't wait for the boxing to start up, actually. December, we always have some good bouts early on in the month, a couple, and then it dies off, obviously.
Why is it called Boxing Day, though? Remind
there's
me
a
and
number
the rest of us.
You know, there are a number of different suggestions. One is that this was the day that the servants and staff were allowed to open their gifts.
Right.
And the other is that this is the day when the servants and staff removed the boxes from the masters' homes that all the gifts had been in. So that's
When do you allow your servants and staff?
Well, you know, I've had a very quiet holiday season. Other than the football, Danny. Other than the football, it's been very quiet. Yeah.
You have what? 3 kids? 4 kids?
I do. I got the 2 older ones in from college with me.
Right.
And, look, I pay for their education when they're not paying for it themselves with their athletic scholarships. So the difference I kick in, that's their gift. And the fact of the matter is, I'm their father. What more gift could they possibly want, Danny?
You know, that's a great question. Really. How are these young men that are related to you, how are they ever good athletes? How does that work out?
Well, I used to be a good athlete in my day, actually.
What did you play?
Unfortunately, they can look. I played rugby, and I was a goalkeeper, and I was a very good cricket player.
Really?
Yeah, very good.
Have you been watching the Ashes?
Don't talk to me about the Ashes. I was a very good spin bowler, but that's a different match,
hey,
Danny.
What do you think about what's his name walking away?
Swanee?
Yeah, Graham Swan.
I think that he was being honest. It's a great discussion. I don't want to get into it too much, but
all right.
It's important because if you look at it in the context of what would happen in a World Cup, for example. So you've played your group games. You're obviously not going to advance. You've got one more game left, and Rio Ferdinand sits up and says, "You know what? I'm going home. I retire." There's something about it that I don't like, and I think what Swanee was saying that his heart wasn't in it anymore, and it's time to let someone else sort of. But I think the time to do that is when the Ashes are over, and you take your licking and you come home and you move on, and that's the time. But let's get back to the football, Danny, because there were today some wicked surprises, I thought. Let's start with the early game, shall we? It was Hull versus Manchester City. It was at the KC.
Manchester United.
Pardon me. I'm sorry, Manchester United. At the KC. I'm old. It was at the KC, and I told you that this match could go either way. I said I thought this was a draw. This match was very, very nearly a draw. Manchester United labored to win this match. It was an own goal on behalf of Hull. Wayne Rooney was imperious. And I just want to say, we talk about Luis Suarez, and we talk about Kun Aguero, and we talk about Negredo and Mesut Ozil. But, Wayne Rooney is an imperious being right now. He is the guy that is driving Manchester United forward. Without Wayne Rooney, this team would be in serious, serious trouble. What a player, Danny. What a player he's become. What a mature player he's become. Just terrific. Great to watch. The only reason I like to watch Man United.
Yeah, that second goal was really solid from Wayne Rooney. The thing I really liked about this match as far as Manchester United are concerned is that it wasn't like their last couple victories in the league. It was like the victories that they earned last year. And it will remind them of the spirit that this team had a year ago and the spirit that this team was capable of digging deep and locating a way on a big day to earn key points. And now they sit just 8 points back, and they're surely in the mix because everything is so crowded and so bunched together up at the top. It was really a great performance from that United team.
Do you think Man United are closer to, just in what they're putting on the pitch, do you think this team is closer to Newcastle or closer to Man City?
They're closer to Newcastle.
Exactly. So why would you sit there and say they're in the mix? This team's not in the mix. They are in the cup mix, absolutely. They could.
They're in the top 4 mix. They could make the top 4.
I don't think they're going to make the top 4. I don't think so.
But they will contend for that spot, and it's because of results like today. Newcastle go down. If Newcastle were to go down 2-0 at the KC Stadium on Boxing Day, they will lose.
You know what?
Okay. If Man City go down 2-0 at the KC on Boxing Day, they will win, and that's what Man United did today.
Well, there were two things at the end of that game that I thought were really interesting. Number one is Antonio Valencia is a complete moron.
Yeah, he is.
Okay, he's a complete moron. And the cold shoulder he got as he walked down that tunnel from David Moyes said everything you need to know about the stupidity that this guy... I mean, at the end of the match, all they had to do was to retain a little possession, okay, and to defend, and they were going to win this match. Instead, he gets sent off. He's going to miss the next 2 matches. He's a fool. That's number one. Number two, if Hull City had got Fergie time, they probably would have equalized. They had 4 or 5 really good chances in the last 2 minutes. So what I'm saying to you is, good result for Man United. Congratulations. The KC is a difficult place to get points out of. We all know that. But I still see a team that is closer to Newcastle, maybe a little better than Spurs, but closer to Newcastle than to Man City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Arsenal, or frankly even Everton.
Don't you just love Steve Bruce's record against United as a manager? Well, that was Brucey's 18th match against United. He has 4 draws and 14 losses. He has 4 points from 18 matches against Manchester United. I haven't watched, Nick, I don't know about you, but to be honest, from start to finish, I haven't watched too many matches from the KC Stadium this year. The way that they've constructed that ground and what they've done, now that ownership is behind things, they made some great signings this offseason, as we talked about a lot, players like Tom Huddleston. I think this club can be sort of the new Stoke, you know, or the new Swansea, that really grab the hammer and the nail and they say, we are in this league and we are staying in this league, although a point would have really helped them out today.
But you know,
they don't look like a championship club.
No, there's a couple of things I like about him. I mean, Steve Bruce is one, by the way. And you cannot compare P-Safe to anything else. I mean, so whatever you're doing historically, if it's P-Safe, prior to the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Okay. So, I mean, you know, if it was Sir Alex Ferguson era, forget it. We're talking about, pardon me, post-Sir Alex Ferguson era.
Right.
So, you know, if it's P-Safe, fine, but don't look back at the Alex Ferguson era because that was something totally different. What Hull have is Steve Bruce. He is a wily, clever guy. He knows English football in and out. He's a great spotter of talent. Reminds me a lot of Harry Redknapp, has a lot of those same sort of skills, really relates to the players. He's a quality manager, and I tell you, I like Hull. I think they're really moving in the right direction, and there's a lot to like about him. And frankly, if you look at the tale of 2 crazy owners, you've got Asim Alam at Hull City, and you've got Mad Vinny over at Cardiff. I'd take Asim Alam. I mean, the only thing he wanted to do was to rename you.
Yeah, he's just trying to shape the club that he's paid for, frankly.
Well, both of the managers are. In fairness, both of the managers are.
I think Valencia...
Pardon me, the owners, both of the owners are.
We talk about a lot of the problems that United have, but I think Antonio Valencia sending off and Ashley Young's really poor, disgusting play on the goalkeeper, I think they show a major issue that Man United have that we don't really talk about on the program and not a lot of people do. They have gone out and they have spent a ton of money over time on 3 important wing players, on Nani and Valencia and Ashley Young.
Well,
these solid attacking
because width is the Man United way, right?
And they've showed so much potential, but they've never really hit that super elite status. You know, they're kind of always, their match performance is right around a 7 all of the time. At best. They never get up to a 9. They never show us a 10. 6 months into Ashley Young's first season, we probably thought he was going to be one of the best players in the league. But Ferguson never really developed those wingers. And yeah, we talk about Ferdinand and Vidic, and we look at the fact that there's no one to play with Carrick. The forward situation is obviously fine, but Evra is getting older. I think that's something that isn't talked about enough, is that those wingers have never become nearly world-class as we thought they might at some point in their young careers.
Yeah, it's a great point. I mean, they're just not developing maybe where we thought they would, particularly Nani. I mean, everyone thought he was the next coming of Cristiano Ronaldo, of course, and, not going to happen. All right, let's look at some of the other matches. Crystal Palace go to Villa Park at a really solid 3 points for Crystal Palace. Surprised about that result?
By the way, our boy Ed Hart, he completely called that one.
Yes, he did.
He's still pretty riled up about Martin Atkinson's performance between Stoke and Newcastle today with those 2 sending offs, and he's been tweeting us a lot about it. You can send us tweets as well at World Soccer Radio. Nick is at Nick Gieber. I'm at DPage805.
Just send to
I
World Soccer
wonder-
Radio is the best way.
At World Soccer Radio. I wonder if going back and looking the number of times in the Premier League era, and obviously we don't really have access to this information, the number of times in the Premier League era that the bottom 3 teams all won in the same day. I doubt it's happened very much, especially once you hit the 15, 16 game mark in the season.
Yeah,
and
awesome
that's
stuff.
exactly what happened today.
Yeah, so the bottom of the table is actually extremely interesting, as is the top. And of
It
course,
didn't look like it was going to be that way, though, Nick.
No, I
Remember
know,
at the beginning
I know.
of the year?
Yeah,
It
that's
looked like
right.
it was going to be clear cut, and now Sunderland and Palace is out, of the relegation zone. This looks like it's shaping up to be an amazing race as well.
Yeah, the drop zone. Let's go to the next one. Southampton go to Cardiff and put Malky Mackay under even more pressure. I don't think he's going to last another week. If he loses one more match, I'm telling you, Mackay's gone. They go to Cardiff, and they beat them 3-0.
I think we agreed on this. In fact, that might have been my scoreline, that Southampton's problem during this very poor run of form, when I think they lost 4 or 5 and drew 1, was not Southampton. It was simply who they were playing.
That's right.
I mean, they played everyone above them, and they basically lost to everyone above them, which is more than understandable. So seeing them get back on track is no surprise whatsoever in my mind. Good to see them get 3 points.
All right, next one, Stamford Bridge. Chelsea win 1-0 to Swansea. When we come back after break, we're going to go to break here in just a minute. I'm going to tell you why I don't think Chelsea are title contenders this year.
Okay.
Unless something massive happens in January, which I hear it could be Gonzalo Higuain, in which case that would be something potentially massive, provided he doesn't do a soldado on us. So let's talk about it when we come back. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA. We're discussing the big matches today on Boxing Day, the Boxing Day extravaganza, on our Boxing Day show here on World Soccer Radio on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. All right, it is break time. Find us on Twitter, World Soccer Radio. We are on Facebook, facebook.com/World Soccer Radio. Now's a great time to use the loo, because we'll be right back in just 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
My joints used to kill me. I'd wake up with stiff
Nick?
knees and a stiff back, and it wouldn't get much
Boxing Day
better.
actually started with the British military. Officers and enlisted men used to switch responsibilities.
Then I found something called Oil
For a day.
Can lubricant. They use
All
only
right.
top-of-the-line,
Good
all-natural ingredients, and I know...
And by the way, the other 2 members of the Stray Cats were Lee Rocker and Slim Jim
Okay,
Phantom.
Can ingredients are
live-
scientifically
we're live on the
formulated to
stream.
work together
man.
faster than
It's fun.
anything else in the marketplace. That's guaranteed. I take Oil Can every day. My knee pain was gone in just a few days. So if you have knee pain, back pain, and you tried everything, try Oil Can Joint Lubricant risk-free right now. I'm confident you'll have fewer aches and pains within days, or we will gladly refund your money. Call right now. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795. 800-989-1795.
Trojan Man.
So, what do you think?
Well, new Trojan Pure Ecstasy condoms are so smooth, it feels like nothing's there.
Nothing there.
But Trojan Super Bearskin is America's thinnest non-latex condom.
Super thin.
Of course, the Trojan Pleasure Pack has 4 varieties of condoms. We could try them all.
All of them?
All night long.
So many stimulating condoms, all triple tested for quality. All from the maker of Trojan, America's #1 most trusted condom brand.
Trusted brand.
Waiting for settlement or annuity payments but need cash now? Stop waiting years for your money. Now you have a better choice. We're Novation, and we'll pay a large lump sum of cash in exchange for settlement or annuity payments. You get the upfront cash you need and let Novation do the waiting. Call our toll-free assistance line right now and get our free DVD that explains in easy-to-understand terms how you can turn future settlement or annuity payments into cash. At Novation, we've helped thousands of people improve their lives. How? By listening to each customer with respect and tailoring a cash solution that met their individual needs. Let Novation help you too. Call now and get your free DVD rushed to you today. Our specialists are standing by awaiting your call. Call 800-541-0769. That's 800-541-0769. Again, call 800-541-0769. Simply call Novation toll-free at 800-541-0769 and get your money when you need it.
When you work out, you give it your all. At the gym or outdoors, it's intense, impactful, non-stop. You need a headphone that keeps up and won't fall out. With iSport, you get pure monster sound, a comfortable fit, washability, and control talk at your fingertips, so you don't miss a call. Choose from a range of noise isolations with iSport Intensity, Victory, and Strive, or go wireless with iSport Freedom. Monster iSport, the athlete's headphone. Available at Target and Best Buy or online at monsterproducts.com.
All right, welcome back to the show. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Nick Eber and Danny Page with you.
Yeah.
That's right. This Boxing Day now, Jerry, I have to tell you that you are, I don't know what you're reading, but there are many definitions of where Boxing Day came from. We talk about servants opening the boxes, being given boxes of gifts by their employers. But of course, the other one, of course, is that it could come from the fact that people would go to church and give alms to the poor and put their money in the alms box. Hence the name Boxing Day. So there's a lot.
I really don't care.
So there are lots of different definitions about it. But I will say this: the best thing about Boxing Day is the absolute boatload
leftovers
of football that you get to watch with leftovers. Now, I actually went to the Asian buffet yesterday for the holidays, because that's just the kind of really, that's the kind of guy I am.
What?
So there were no leftovers, so to speak.
What? Are you kidding me?
I'm serious. Yes.
It's like Ralphie and his family in a Christmas store.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
All right. Well, let's get back to it, shall we? Let's talk about the Boxing Day matches. Chelsea have a problem, and their problem is they can't score enough goals. They need a good striker that they can rely on to knock the ball in the back of the net. If they can get one, they'll be a serious title contender.
Mm-hmm.
If they can't, and Jose Mourinho said it himself, 1-0 is the best they're going to hope for, a 1-0 victory. You can't play Liverpool and hope for a 1-0 victory. You can't play Manchester City and hope for a 1-0 victory. You have to be able to score goals. Until they solve that problem, I don't see them as title contenders. Having said that, that problem could very well be solved here in just a few days. So, I'm not casting aspersions on them. I'm just saying that they need to address that problem. When they have addressed that problem, then they will be title contenders. They're keeping themselves in the mix, for sure. But that's what they have to do.
Think about how prolific this pairing would have been 6 years ago.
Yeah.
Right? Eto'o is past his prime. He's setting up a deal to MLS. Torres, you got to be done with Torres. Here's the issue that I look at. When I see some of the names thrown out there that Chelsea could sign that aren't megastars like Radamel Falcao.
No, Gonzalo Higuain. That's the one.
Or Higuain. I go back to the cocky and misplaced and selfish decision to sign Willian, okay? Roman Abramovich should have let the deal go through for Spurs. It wasn't going to vault. We know now that deal would not have vaulted Spurs, that one player, that one Brazilian who's going to struggle to make the team for the World Cup. We know now that one player would not have vaulted Tottenham to incredible new levels. But what if they had those 30 million pounds back? They probably only want to go out and spend about 12, 15 million pounds on a player, I think, this January. And what if they could go spend 45 million because they didn't sign a player they hardly use? It was a stupid decision, and it's going to prevent them probably from winning the title unless Abramovich just goes and says, what the heck?
There you go. That's it. I mean, first of all, they'll sell Torres and they'll get 15 million for him. Second of all, they will buy in whoever they need to buy in. If it's 50 million for Higuain or 45, they'll pay it because they need it. They need it to win. There's two things that you know about Chelsea. The combination of Roman Abramovich and Jose Mourinho is all about winning, and they will do whatever they have to do to win. So watch out. They're coming. They're just not there right now.
I've watched Inter Milan, by the way, Nick, a couple times this month, and I think Freddie Guarín will be a really important player for Chelsea too, because what's missing is the 2006 Michael Essien. The 2013 Michael Essien isn't doing very much. But
no, I mean, of course not. 7 years later, Michael Essien was an incredibly dominant player at Chelsea. He was the guy through which basically everything happened. He was
and Chelsea give up, 3 goals to Sunderland, wasn't it? And everyone says, oh, it's Terry and Cahill and David Luiz. It really, yes, Louise is in a great center half and Terry's getting older, but really there's no one supporting them. They're left completely exposed.
All right, Danny, we're running out of time. Let's move along. Everton, Sunderland. Tim Howard gets sent off. Everton playing a man down. They lose 1-0. This was a really bad result for them. This is not points that they wanted to drop.
Does this mean he's going to be in the broadcast booth now for the next 3 games?
I hope not.
There isn't going to be any argument from anyone as far as this call and this decision to send off Tim Howard. He really should be a goalkeeper that recognizes in the 22nd minute. Honestly, Nick, you do what you can to stop the goal, but in the end, you just let the guy score.
That's right.
Because you have an attacking team that is at home that can produce a goal or even two.
Danny, hold on. You're playing Sunderland.
You're playing Sunderland.
Exactly, right, exactly. Stupid move. Let's move on, though. Stupid move, we all agree. What a response from Newcastle United. 5-1. They ended up against 9-man Stoke. Watch out for this Newcastle team. They are on an absolute tear, as of late. Alan Pardew, this is a guy that we all thought was going to get the sack. This is a guy that they were trying to move out the door after signing this great contract. They have been doing exceptionally well. The worst thing that could possibly happen to them is that they finish 5th this season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the worst thing that can happen to Everton as well. And teams that don't have Champions League type depth could really struggle. January, February will be really interesting months for Newcastle. We'll see where this team really ends up. I'd love to see them go on a cup run and maybe win the FA Cup or something like that. They are that good.
They are great. The French contingent really coming good for them, and I'm happy about it. All right, Fulham go to Carrow Road, get a great victory for them, start to pull themselves up off the bottom. Tottenham 1-1 against West Bromwich Albion, and why don't we get to this topic right now? But we talk about this a lot, but it's time for Daniel Levy to go, Danny. It's time for him to go. He is the man that bought these players. He is the one that took all the accolades and the credit for the great business dealings. And isn't he smart selling Gareth Bale? He gutted that team for £85 million. And he learned that you can't put the sum of those pieces back together again with $107 million in new signings. Daniel Levy is the man responsible for this. AVB may not have been the greatest manager in the world, but Daniel Levy has set this team up for failure. I don't like what they're doing. I think Tim Sherwood's not going to last out 18 months. This is a team in turmoil. I don't see anything good happening at White Hart Lane right now.
Franco Baldini as well probably won't last in that setup. For me, the issue with Daniel Levy is not what he did to try and replace Gareth Bale. I think he worked that decision masterfully. The issue I have with Daniel Levy, and I hate to hold a grudge a little bit here, but we have to go back 18 months. To when he had a manager who had this football club on track, who had taken them to the Champions League, but he couldn't deal with the rising personality and presence of Harry Redknapp. And he sacked Harry Redknapp. That's a decision that I feel like we looked at back then 18 months ago, and we said, this could really come back to hurt Levy and could really come back to hurt Tottenham as a whole. And I think that's the real issue.
Well, that's right. That's right. I think Daniel Levy is unable to put his ego aside and let the football people really run the team. Look, it's a problem. I think Spurs supporters, I think you have to be looking at this saying it is time for Daniel Levy to go. He's fired enough people. He's obfuscated and pushed the blame elsewhere. He needs to look himself in the eye and accept responsibility, and it's time for him to go. All right, let's move on. Arsenal go to Upton Park, get a nice victory. Arsenal, we talk about Liverpool, we talk about Man City. Don't forget the Gunners, please.
Yeah, don't forget the Gunners. I think this was a bit more about West Ham's continued frailties than Arsenal's win, although to knock 3 past them in the second half was impressive. I mean, I saw that scoreline at halftime, and I thought, uh-oh, here we go, because I thought Arsenal would draw at Upton Park, and that's what surely looked likely. If there's anyone whose depth will really be tested with the upcoming FA Cup and European fixtures, it is Arsenal. West Ham, I'm still standing behind Big Sam. I know they're down in 19th now, but I'd like to stand behind Allardyce. I'd like to think that the Hammers will as well. That's a tough match, especially on Boxing Day, especially with a team like Arsenal. that traditionally struggles going to Upton Park.
And
nice win for the Gunners to go back to the top.
Right, big London derby. And the other thing, Danny, is, we talk about Man City and we're making them title winners already, but they're Arsenal sitting at the top of the table right now. So they are getting better and better.
2 points.
No, by 1 point. By 1 point. But, again, this is not cut and dried. Don't hand this thing over quite yet. Look, we only have a few minutes. I want to talk about something that really upset me today as a Liverpool supporter. I have warmed to Brendan Rodgers enormously. I think he's doing a terrific job at the club. The Daily Mirror, I believe, is reporting that Liverpool are in negotiations now to re-sign him to a new contract. He has only 18 months left on his contract for £2 million a year, which would make him a very well-paid manager indeed. And that's great. He's doing a fantastic job. And today, I thought Liverpool were honourable in defeat. They put on a great show against City. There's nothing to be ashamed of. What Brendan Rodgers said today after the match about the referee was absolutely disgraceful. As a Liverpool supporter, I wish he would never say that. I don't ever want to hear that from him. If you think the referee had a bad match, by all means you can say the ref or the assistant referee had a bad match. But to impugn their integrity, to suggest that because they're from Bolton, which is in the Greater Manchester area, if you don't know that somehow these calls were biased towards Man City, I think that is disgraceful. And the league needs to put their foot down, and Brendan Rodgers needs a big fine and a touchline ban. I'm sorry to say it. He's my manager of the team that I love and support, but I was embarrassed today at what he said. There's no room in the game for that. If he has evidence that there was some funny business going on, then bring that evidence forth. But don't ever impugn the integrity of a referee, a guy who's just a hard-working guy who may have got some calls wrong, as indeed he did. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, don't you think that he really had an opportunity to put a very positive spin on this defeat? And for the most part in the Barclays Premier League, you can't put a positive spin on a defeat. But he had the opportunity to go out and say, we played our socks off. We were probably the better team. We were more aggressive on the road than anyone has been all season at the Etihad Stadium. We were as good as this team that won the title 2 years ago and is probably favorites. And instead, he's sitting there in his post-match presser whining. Just complaining
it's not
and
even
whining.
it's not even the whining, Danny. I mean, you're entitled
That's
to...
my problem. That's my problem.
If you don't like the referee decisions, I get that. But
focus on the positive.
Yeah, no, it's not even that, Danny. He impugned the integrity of the referee, and I have no business... Not an ounce of me thinks that referee is making decisions based on whether he's from Manchester or not, okay? He made the wrong decisions. He may not be the best referee in the world.
Yeah,
but to impugn his integrity because he's from Manchester and thereby officiating a team from Manchester, there's something wrong with that. That is a no-no. You just don't do that, Brendan Rodgers.
Doesn't he live in Lancashire now?
It was disgraceful what he did. I don't ever want to see that from him. I'd like ownership to come out with a firm statement, distancing themselves from that. Also saying how much they love Brendan and support him and everything's great. But, he's a young manager himself. He's got to learn. But this was disgraceful, Danny. I was very upset about this today. A real downer on what was otherwise a good day.
Yeah, considering this is a short week, though, he probably will be charged tomorrow. They'll play over the weekend, and he'll either be suspended on New Year's Day or even more likely in the FA Cup tie coming up a week from Saturday.
All right, you're listening to World Soccer Radio on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. I'm sorry about that, folks. If you're a Liverpool supporter, you're looking at me saying, how can Nick say that? I just don't think you impugn the integrity of referees without some firm evidence, which he clearly didn't have. We have plenty of evidence that he made bad calls, but his integrity is intact in my mind. All right, 800-878-PLAY. We just got a quick segment when we come back to wrap it up. 800-878-PLAY. Find us on Twitter at World Soccer Radio. Nick Eva, Danny Page. We'll take a break, and we'll be right back with more here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network.
Are you a business owner or an individual who owes the IRS?
Hey, Jerry.
Hey, what?
Sorry, man. You know what? We are on the stream, and I've cut a lot of this stuff off. I've muted the mic. We're going to a lot of people now on the stream, like a lot.
No biggie.
So I just need to keep the break chatter down to a minimum until I go ahead and backfill our 3-minute video we run with some music.
Works for me.
Because when that runs, then I'll just mute us, because we need to be able to communicate, obviously. Yeah, so just keep it down to minimum, and the next few shows I should have this thing fixed.
Gotcha.
Are you sick?
My throat's a little shot, that's all.
Got you. Okay, we're going live with the mic.
Sport. Not all cases are typical and some may not qualify. The consultation is free and so is the call, so call right now. 1-800-999-1064. That's 1-800-999-1064.
Who did you let down today? Your wife? Your kids? Well, how about yourself? Take a look in the mirror. If you're tired of your drug and alcohol problem, you need to fix the problem, and right now, before you hurt or kill yourself, or worse yet, somebody else. Call the addiction specialist now at the Detox and Treatment Helpline, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you have private insurance, we specialize in finding you the right treatment. When you call right now, you'll speak to a recovering addict who understands what you're going through right now. Let us help you break your addiction to drug and alcohol before it's too late. This call is completely confidential and free. So if you have private insurance, take 5 minutes of your time, call right now. I promise it'll change your life. 800-296-1325. 800-296-1325. 800-296-1325. That's 800-296-1325.
When you struggle with credit card bills every month, you're not just in debt. Debt is all around you.
I see people every day that are on the brink. They're going to go over the edge. At the bottom is bankruptcy, and we pull them back.
At the Debt Helpline, we're experts at helping you resolve your debt problems and become free of debt. We can help you pay off your debt and give you one lower monthly payment that you can afford.
You do get to consolidate your payments. You only have to worry about making one payment a month instead of making 3 or 4 or 5.
If you have $5,000, $10,000 or more in credit card bills, call the Debt Helpline now for a free confidential debt analysis.
800-957-6063. 800-957-6063. Call the CESI Debt Helpline right now for a free confidential debt review. 800-957-6063. 800-957-6063.
All right, welcome back. World Soccer Radio, Sports Byline USA, Nick Keeper, and Danny Page with you. It's been one of those shows today, Danny. Lots to get to, lots of matches, lots of discussion. We're going to continue the discussion tomorrow, because so much has happened over the last few days, and we'll look forward to some of the New Year's Day matches. I know you will be busy watching bowl matches as well, right?
Bowl matches?
Bowl games.
Bowl games.
Which one are you looking forward to? The Yoshinoya Beef Bowl? The Tidy Bowl?
The Rose Bowl.
Oh, yeah, the USC playing in the
Rose Bowl. No, we played in the Vegas Bowl and beat Fresno 45-20. My friend, you know, it's just a kind of a New Year's Day tradition, and where I'll be in Lake Tahoe, there is no chance that I'll be able to watch a Barclays Premier League match on that day. There's just no point in trying.
Well, Danny, you are you, my friend, are a lightweight. Okay, I will be watching all the matches, and I will be on the air that very night talking about them.
Man, isn't the start? Isn't the start late on New Year's Day in England for all the matches because they know everyone's so hungover?
That's right. Oh, I love this time of year. Of course,
it's so great.
We have matches, of course, over the weekend as well. So we will start tomorrow. We will start looking at all the matches coming up over the weekend. What is tomorrow? Is tomorrow Thursday?
Tomorrow is Friday. It's
That's
time
right.
for our match
Of course,
preview show.
it's our match preview show tomorrow.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been in a haze. All right, folks. I want to thank you
It's
for
all
tuning
that
in.
Chinese food yesterday.
Yeah, it is indeed. Want to thank you for tuning in. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas with your family or your wonderful holidays. It's bad to say Christmas these days, apparently. I don't know why. But it was Christmas yesterday, so I hope you had a great one with your family. I really enjoyed it and enjoyed the football. It's wonderful to have you with us here every weeknight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time on the Sports Byline Network. So as Danny pointed out, tomorrow we will give our Premier League match previews for the weekend, and there's some big matches. Of course, Chelsea, Liverpool could well be the biggest one on tap. We're going to talk about that. In the meantime, folks, since you're enjoying the great programming here at Sports Byline, you got to stay tuned, because coming up next, the legend of the game himself, the one, the only, Mr. Ron Barr, coming up just a couple minutes from now, right here on the Sports Byline USA Radio Network. Want to thank Jerry, want to thank Danny, want to thank Scott. Thank you for tuning in. We will be back with you tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Cheers. Have a great one.
Good night.
Thanks a lot, man.
See you, bud.
Later.
5:30 tomorrow, Nick.